Hi everyone, welcome to another tutorial of Rankings Right Now. I'm the creator of Rankings Right Now, Peyton Swacher. Let's go ahead and today and walk through the what if simulation portion of Rankings Right Now. So I'm here on the home screen. One of the things, if you click on the what if simulation, it takes you to a page that just talks about what the what if simulation is. It states that the what if simulation page is available to Rankings Right Now users only, and great news, it's free to sign up for everybody. So go ahead and click the login button. Go ahead and put in your username and password. Oh, bad login. Let me try that again. Perfect. So it takes you back to the home page. As you can see, I have two favorite teams right here, Fresno State and Michigan State. Both my parents my mom went to Fresno State, my dad went to Michigan State, so it's two teams that I follow pretty closely. Now, if I click on the what if simulation, it takes me to a much more different page. So we have the what if simulation logo up top. It talks a little bit about what the what if simulation is, and the what if simulation at the very core of it is altering college football reality. So we all know what the outcomes of the games are. We know what the movement in the rankings are. Well, what would have happened if that ball rolled the other way, or if the field goal didn't get blocked at the end of the game, if it actually went through, or the upcoming games that are coming up for the week and the weekend? What if we're able to alter the scores on what you think are actually going to happen and see what those projected rankings are going to be? So that's what this tool is all for. So first off, what we want to do is select the season and the poll. So right now we have two algorithms, one for the AP Top 25 and one for the College Football Selection Committee. It depends on where in the year you are actually trying to alter games and what polls you're interested in. So for the first 9 weeks of the season, most people pay attention to the AP poll, and for the rest of the weeks, people pay attention to the College Football Selection Committee poll. One of the things that we're going to play around today with is the Fresno State season and the 2021 season, and I'm going to go ahead and look at the AP Top 25 rankings. So right now we see that it says Playoff Committee Rankings Week 12. Let's go ahead and get the season data for the AP Top 25 for the 2021 season. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the button. And now we see it says the AP Top 25 Week 12 values. So here are the projected rankings for week 12 of the 2021 season according to the AP poll of what we assume. Now, we are going to go ahead and jump to week 5 or the projected rankings for week 5, and actually we're going to make it week 6. So, in week 5, we can go ahead and go down to the completed games and click on the week 5 games. We can see all of the game matchups for the top 25 teams right here. If you want to go ahead and change that and see all of the games, you can go select teams and then all teams, and it'll give you all of the projected rankings for week 6 and all of the games that happened in week 5 and all of the other weeks as well. So for this, we're just going to look at the top 25 teams because Fresno State was a top 25 team for week 5. But we see for week 6, they dropped 14 slots to 32. So they were 18. They dropped 14 to get them to the number 32 ranked team. If we go and look at the actual rankings for that week, we see that Fresno State was the 18th ranked team, as we just saw, for week 5. If we go to week 6, Fresno State is no longer in the top 25, and if we look there, they only got a very few amount of votes. Fresno State got 5 votes, which means that, yeah, if you want to call it 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Okay, so 32 is reasonable in this scenario. Great, perfect. That's what we want to see, an accurate algorithm that actually gives us cool information. If we go ahead and look at their game on why they would have dropped so far, that's because number 18 Fresno State lost to unranked Hawaii 27-24. So what, as a Fresno State fan, I might be interested in say, well, what if we could actually change that outcome? We can click on the edit button, and let's say we want this game actually to be 31-27. I click confirm, and we see a blue box has now highlighted the game. The blue box means that the game has been altered. You can also see at the very top, I add a section that says altered games, and you can look at all of your altered games for each week, and it says that this game has been altered. Fresno State 31, Hawaii 27. If for whatever reason you don't like the change that you made, you can reset an individual game, or you're also able to reset all the scores. If you have updated a bunch of different scores and you want a clean slate, just click on reset all scores. So let's go ahead and go back and change this to 31-27. Now we have our altered game. We're going to go ahead and click run simulation. Now that we have the simulation that has been run, let's go ahead and go back to that week 6 projected rankings. Now, if you remember, in week 5, we now said that Fresno State was going to win 31-27 instead of losing 27-24. They were the 32 ranked team, but that has now changed. According to our predictions now, the AP poll would have ranked them number 16 after that if they had won that game, which is really interesting, really cool. And you can kind of imagine that. You beat an unranked team by a touchdown on the road. You may move up a little bit, not a ton. Florida, for example, is still dropping 10 slots. Why is that? Well, if we look at the Florida game, Kentucky won 20-13. Let's go ahead and alter that game as well. Let's just say that they would have won 27-20, right? Run the simulation. Let's go to week 6. And now they would have only moved up one slot. Why is that? Well, Florida is still staying up top now. They're still staying heavy. And Kentucky, which moved up a ton in that game, is not moving up at all. So it rearranges the rankings based off of what we would have actually determined would be a realistic thing that would have happened with the AP poll. That's the really cool part of rankings right now, algorithms, is they take all of context into consideration. So let's go ahead and, one other piece I want to mention. This doesn't just update the week 6 week for projections. It then carries forward and makes it reality that those games actually happened. So we don't need to say, okay, well, only for week 6 do we adjust the rankings. Now it takes effect for all of the weeks moving forward. So if we look at the week 7 projected rankings, Fresno State drops down one slot. Why is that? Well, that's because they had a bye that week. You don't see any Fresno State down here. If we move to week 8, they move up a slot to 17. Florida drops 9 slots here. Why is that? Let's go ahead and look. Florida loses a tough one on the road to unranked LSU, so they drop a bunch. Fresno State's now 17. We can go ahead and let's just do one more. Fresno State now moves up 5 slots because they beat Nevada 34-32. So, you go from if we look at the week 9 rankings in the AP poll, Fresno State isn't even in the top 25. They're not even mentioned. So that one game cost them a gigantic ranking for the AP Top 25, probably a big influence on the College Football Selection Committee poll. Speaking of, let's go ahead and play around with that poll as well. So let's go ahead and go up here. Oh, froze a little bit. Let's change this to the College Football Selection Committee. So let's go ahead and get the season for the 21 season. Now, Rankings Right Now was actually born predicting the Week 13 playoff committee rankings. Once again, I mentioned I'm a Michigan State fan, and Michigan State and Ohio State had a really big matchup for Week 12. And at halftime, Michigan State was losing 49-0 to Ohio State. It was a devastating scenario. And one of the questions I had wondered was, well, if they had won that game, would they be ranked in the top 5? Would they be ranked in the top 2? What would actually happen if we look at what actually happened for Week 13, for the rankings for Week 13, I should say, the college football playoff rankings? Ohio State had moved up from 4 to 2, and Michigan State had dropped from 7 to 12. So our projected algorithm said that they were only going to drop 3 slots, but in reality they dropped 12. But let's say, for example, that game never actually happened the way that the outcome went. Let's change this to be 49 to 30. We have our altered game. Let's go ahead and run the simulation. Let's go to week 13. And now it shows that Michigan State would have actually moved to the number 3 slot, and Ohio State would have dropped 5 slots down to number 9. Oregon is still dropping down 7 slots to 10. Why is that? Well, that's because Utah had a big upset against Oregon, and you'll see Utah also went up a bunch of rankings as well. So this is the fun piece of the rankings right now, what if simulation. It allows you to alter reality and see what would have been the outcome of these rankings given your reality. So that's it. I hope you play around with it. I hope you have fun. Please leave any questions or email us if you have any concerns, or if something's not adding up, or if you have other ideas that you would like integrated into the website. We'll be happy to go through and add whatever things that you might be interested in to help you give a more realistic outcome for these games that you're playing around with. Thank you so much for this staying through this tutorial. We hope you have fun with rankings right now.